Welcome to Season 2 of the Co-working Culture, your business podcast discussing co-working, collaboration, and customer experience with your host, Ali Joseph.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. This is your host, Ali Joseph, and you are tuned into another great episode of the Co-working Culture podcast. We are in season number 2, and this is episode number 4, Owning Your Role in Collaboration. Now, I just want to go ahead and give my spiel at the beginning. So if you are brand new to the Co-working Culture podcast, I am your host, Ali Joseph. The Co-working Culture podcast is an entrepreneurial-based podcast focused on everything from co-working to collaboration to the customer experience. And in this season, we focus solely on collaboration and the power of collaboration in business. So far this season, we've talked about, of course, collaboration excellence. We've also talked a little bit about how to give proper feedback in collaboration, as well as talking about the different collaboration types, from cross-functional, from cross-cultural, virtual, so on and so forth. On this episode, which is season 2, episode number 4, we're going to talk about and bring that all together and talk about owning your role in collaboration. Now, you're probably thinking, why is this super important? I'm collaborating. I know what I'm bringing to the table. Because a lot of the times, if you're not vetting out the right people for a particular project or for a particular item that you need to complete, the collaboration can turn into a really detrimental situation. So it's very crucial to understand whatever task and whatever responsibility that you're leading on and the responsibility that you're taking on in a particular project. You want to make sure that not only that you're being the subject matter expert, but that you're owning that, because people are trusting you as a part of that piece of that project to make sure that the entire project is successful. And your piece is just as important as anyone else's. If you are new, again, you can also visit our website as well to learn more information about the Co-working Culture podcast. That's www.thecoworkingculture.com. That's www.thecoworkingculture.com. We are also on Google Play. So if you want to continue to follow us and you do not want to miss any additional episodes, make sure that you download our app on Google Play. Just go to Google Play for your Android, type in the Co-working Culture, download the app, and anytime we have a brand new episode, you will receive a push notification letting you know that a new episode is available for your listening pleasure. All right, so I definitely don't want to waste much time. I want to get into this topic because I want to share some of the content today about owning your role. So there's an article I take a look at. Again, you guys know about my research and my articles. You know, I'm a business geek. That's what I enjoy doing. So I took some time to find something that would really be compelling and something that you would be able to take away from this particular episode, in making sure that anytime you're collaborating, regardless of with who it is, even if it's in your personal life. Look, sometimes there's things in our professional life that we learn that we can even use and utilize in our personal lives. And it just makes things so much easier. So there's some things that I wanted to research and see what you guys could actually take away from this conversation to make sure that any type of collaboration scenario that you're in, you're successful, you're owning it, and you're taking strong leadership and you're making an impact. So with that being said, with all of my research and taking the time to take a look, I found this really great article, and it is on the website called Workamajig. That's a funny name. It's a catchy name, and it's a smart, savvy. Let me make sure I say this correctly. It's a smart, catchy, savvy name, Workamajig. So anyway, there's this website called Workamajig. And it looks like that they have different resources and different types of teams to help you collaborate better, or outsourcing for collaborative teams. So they have this article that's under their operational excellence category. And it is a little bit of it's an older article. So let me just put that out there. Not too much older. We're in 2020. We just started. So this was in February of 2018. So almost going on 2 years next month, which is my birthday month. Just wanted to throw that out there. But their article, 8 Collaboration Habits of the World's Most Effective Managers. Now, granted, this particular article is solely focused with effective managers. However, this can be utilized in any scenario, in any format. You don't just have to be a manager. You can be a vice president. You can be the CEO. You could be a director. No matter what, you can even be an independent contributor within your organization. You can, and this can work for anyone, because what's important is the context here. When you're in a collaboration and you're in a partnership, you're clearly responsible for managing your specific responsibility of the task. So I think that the components in here that they're sharing, there's 8 very strong components that they've shared in here, I think are very crucial, especially with helping you tie in to owning your role and making sure that you are the subject matter expert for what you have been acquired to complete. However, for the time of the show, and to keep you all in suspense, well, not necessarily suspense, I do want you guys to have homework, and I do want you to take time to research yourself, because this is also a great way for you to continue self, personal, and professional development. I'm only going to share 4 on this episode, but there's 8 in total. So I'll give you guys the website so that way you guys can go ahead and continue the research. That'll give you an opportunity when you are taking time this week to self-reflect on your week and to self-reflect on your professional development and growth. This is an article that you can go to help you with that. All right, so I'm going to get started. Had to have a little bit of water. Got to make sure the palate is clear. All right, guys, so workamajig.com, 8 Collaboration Habits of the World's Most Effective Managers. I'm going to share, I took notes because I wanted to share my top 4 that I think, based off of my experience and based off of what I've done in my share of collaborating, that I thought were completely valid, were the top 4 items that you must know, best practice, things that you should be implementing immediately anytime you enter into a partnership or any type of collaboration. So I'm going to go in order, but again, workamajig.com. So that's WORKAMAJIG.com. And then you can type that in as well. And so you'll be able to continue to research the other 4 that I won't mention here on this episode. You can take a look at those, and you can look at the full list of all the habits of effective managers and just effective leadership in general. So just to get started, I'm going to go ahead and dive down here. Of course, I have my laptop, my notes. I love just being organized. When you have your information involved, when you have everything together, it just helps. Okay, so let's start with number 4. So number 4 on the list is develop signature relationship practices. So I'm going to go straight down the list of my top 4 choices that I wanted to discuss on this particular episode. So number 4, develop signature relationship practices. From my experience, it's very impactful. And from my experience, I also have seen it be very detrimental, because a lot of the times you get people who come together, they sit in a room, they sit in a table, they have a strategy session, they want to collaborate, they want to work together, but they haven't vetted out every individual, meaning looked at some of their results, looked at what they're a subject matter expert on, seeing some of their deliverables. So a lot of that stuff wasn't done. Or you just get a bunch of people who want to collaborate, but don't have best practices on how to do so. You may get that one person who comes into the group and wants to collaborate, but they're not really the best communicator. That can cause issues. Or you may have the individual who wants to come into a team, collaborative team, but they want to be, as what I like to call it, quote, the control freak. Now, that can also be very detrimental, because if you have someone that's already coming in with the mindset of they want to be the boss of everything, that defeats the entire purpose of collaboration. And it defeats the entire purpose of bringing in the right people for the right specific reasons. So I just use those two examples because there are different dynamics and they can be very detrimental to the collaboration team that you're trying to build. So one thing that I would definitely suggest when it comes down to building your team, and most importantly, when you're bringing a bunch of people together to collaborate, have some set guidelines. It can be 5 to 7, even 10 basic guidelines that you can do in 2 days that lets people know how the engagement will be. If there's questions about a certain aspect, how to communicate, what to say, don't come across as aggressive. Some people may come across as like rude or very aggressive, while some other people don't communicate in that way. So it's about tone, it's about body language. Those things take a factor into it. But having 5 simple, and I mean simple, 5 simple results and lists of things that you guys can do as far as best practices, how to communicate, when to communicate, if there's questions about something that's going on within the group, having those best practices already set in stone will already set the tone. And I've been talking about that all season long. I set the tone at the beginning. As long as you're doing that at the beginning and not doing that in the mid or even at the end or trying to like catch up, you will have much more success with your collaborative team. Okay. So developing those signature relationships. I just say throw 5 ideas, throw 5 top list things of items together. That can be making sure that you are communicating effectively, raising your hand when there's questions. If you have a question or a concern, don't just come with the complaint, but come with the solution. Because a lot of the times, and we know this happens, sometimes you get individuals who come in as well, and they may want to throw shade. I call it shade, but it's really something they want to do an underhand insult is what I want to call it. And they may turn around and be like, and it may cause that person to feel unconfident, or a person that was once confident may not be confident because of the way that it was approached. So little things, just making a list, raising your hand. Hey, if there's a question, raise your hand. If there's something that you feel like is a challenge, come with an additional solution. Talk about it, work it out. So setting that tone and having that list already gives everybody that target direction. So that's number 1 for sure. So the next one on the list is number 5. And I want to talk a little bit about number 5. So number 5 on the list. Number 5 is also a really awesome one because I think that in anything that you do, this is something that's very crucial. And it's very simple, and it's something that I think everyone can benefit from, especially in a collaborative environment. Number 5 on the list is make mentorship a habit. And this is so crucial. I live off this. I've created mentorship programs for corporations and startups. I have mentors. I encourage people to have mentors. Mentorship is inevitable. If you're always seeking to be better and to be the best at what you do, you always want to look up to the people who are above what you're doing. And mentorship is the greatest way to do that, as long as you have an open mind and that you're able and have the ability to take critical feedback when needed. And so on this list, this is the main one that stuck out to me on the website, workamajig.com, is make a mentorship habit. Being in a collaborative environment and collaborating on a task requires having the right people involved that are the subject matter experts for that particular task. They were chosen because they know how to get it done. They understand the subject. They know how to word it correctly and efficiently, and to overall make the overall collaboration project and task more effective. So one of the ways too that you can own your task within a collaboration is to be that mentor.